Hello, I'm Glassell Sumagaisai, the owner of Law Office of Glassell Sumagaisai, an employment law firm. I represent plaintiff employees in pre-litigation and litigation disputes, their claims for wrongful termination, retaliation, discrimination, harassment, wage theft, and other work-related matters. I advise and counsel small businesses so that they remain in compliance with federal and California law. I am a Philippines-born immigrant whose parents brought her to the United States when she was 2 years old. I grew up in Vallejo, California, a not very affluent city. I went to diverse public schools in Vallejo, but despite the diversity, it wasn't easy growing up with my name. My last name reads Sumagaisai, but it's pronounced Sumagaisai. People seem to look at me as the Asian girl with a funny name. While my parents were at work, my grandparents took care of me and my sisters. I learned how to understand and speak some Tagalog. Having spent so much time with my grandparents, they were huge influences in my life. In the Philippines, my grandparents and family were well off. But here, after they came to America, as is typical for many Philippine immigrants, they had to work in lower, less paying jobs. For example, my grandfather was a parking attendant at Marine World. My mother had to work as both an accountant and at least one other job simultaneously throughout a lot of my childhood. But it was their support, examples, and teachings of hard work and achievement that motivated me to be the best I could be and to aim high. I felt like I owed it to them since they had to sacrifice parts of themselves so that we could have better lives here in the United States. I got into UC Davis. I majored in political science and minored in English and communications. I worked at paid internships during various school breaks at a law firm that practiced asbestos. I then started performing administrative work and then paralegal work at that same firm. I then changed firms and worked as an employment law paralegal while I attended law school at San Francisco Law School, which had a night program. I worked for some very gracious and skilled professionals. Right after passing the bar, I worked as a mortgage banking attorney for approximately 3 years. The mortgage industry was not diverse. Among other reasons, the lack of diversity, the lack of fulfillment in what I did was why I again became an employment attorney. After being an attorney for 5 or so years, I opened my own solo employment law firm. Despite being married to a part Caucasian man with a short and easy last name, and my theory that I would get more calls if I had a short and easy last name, I kept my long Filipino last name because of my culture, heritage, and who I am. I became a lawyer, or at least I wanted to become a lawyer when I was younger because it looked glamorous and admirable on television. When I was in elementary school, about fourth grade or so, I saw a female actress defense attorney on television, and I wanted to be a badass like her. As I continued on through school, I still wanted to become a lawyer, but the reasons changed. I wanted to contribute to the world in a positive way. As idealistic and cliche as it sounds, I wanted to help people who are less powerful, who are being wronged, and I wanted to attain justice for them. So many people, like my grandparents, were not getting what they were entitled to, and they were being screwed over by bigger and more powerful forces like government agencies. An example is the fact that so many Filipino war veterans did not receive the benefits they were promised and that they earned, that President Roosevelt and President Truman promised them after they fought for the United States and they marched in the Bataan Death March. My grandfather died before he ever received the due honor recently bestowed upon a few live Filipino war veterans in the past 5 years or so. In my practice, I see this in the form of loyal, hardworking employees who put their best into the work for their employers for decades. But after an employee informs management that they're being discriminated against or that they feel management is performing some illegal activity, these dedicated, hardworking employees end up being terminated or otherwise retaliated against. So what has fueled and inspired me to be an employment lawyer, a private attorney, is I want to stand up for the less powerful people who are being treated wrongly. Generally, employees are the underdog. I've been an employee in supportive roles for many years. This also inspired me to represent workers because workers spend most of the time that they're awake performing work. And unfortunately, some employees are undergoing horrible treatment during that time. I can also relate to workers who experience unfavorable treatment due to protected status because, again, I feel that people see me as less than them due to my race and gender. I wanted to advise and counsel small businesses because they don't have the extensive resources larger employers have. Many of them are just trying to survive while pursuing their dream of owning their own business. Most of them don't want to violate employment laws. In doing this, my hope is that I will prevent the illegal treatment of employees that I prosecute in lawsuits while helping my small business clients remain in compliance. My diverse background and experience has contributed to my practice in that if I hadn't lived through what it meant to be an Asian woman growing up in America, I would not be as tough and hungry as I am to succeed and achieve justice for my clients. Additionally, the awareness of stereotypical Asian and Filipino cultures influences how I perform in my practice. Specifically, growing up in my Filipino culture, there's an expectation to be obedient, quiet, to speak when spoken to be a good young girl. I repel that expectation and culture in my practice of law to a large degree because I need to stand up for my clients and speak up for them while ensuring they are being treated equally. In many cases, I am challenging these stereotypes. And again, because I'm a brown Filipino woman with a weird name, I can feel that some attorneys look down on me and they don't think I'm worthy of being paid attention to, even though I am an attorney just like them. This might happen to you. And if it does, I suggest that you continue to focus on your clients and why it is that you wanted to practice law in the first place. Our profession needs representation of minorities, of people of color, and of people from all different walks of life and experiences. It is you who will help represent clients who come from the same backgrounds, the same different life experiences. For those considering legal careers, one piece of advice that I have for you is to trust yourself and to just go for it. Do not be your own obstacle. We need you. I sincerely hope to see many of you at future Bar Association and other lawyer events. Thank you for listening.